Hi moms, this is a shorter prenatal practice, about 25 minutes long, meant to be more of a grounding practice. So you can either use it on those days you kind of just want to stretch a little bit, get into the hips and just get some light movement, but feel a little more grounded versus more kind of heated, flowy type practices. Or you can combine it with the quick energizing flow and do it following that practice and then have a complete nearly hour-long practice. So we'll start off this practice just in a seated position with a brief centering exercise. Take a full breath in, really feel the chest and the heart rise up. And then as you exhale, let the shoulders settle down, close the eyes, and just start to come home here to your breath. Maybe make the first few breaths just a little bit deeper to kind of really bring all your senses, all your awareness to the breath, and then just start to settle into your most natural breath rhythm. Let the breath be a force that just kind of helps anchor you here to the present moment and allows you to just come home to your body. Let the mind slow down and just settle on this one thing. Keep it nice and simple. Just breathe in, following the breath all the way in. And then as you exhale, all the way back out. And take 3 more breath cycles here. After your third exhale, gently blink the eyes open. Please take a full breath in here in the seated position, and then go ahead, exhale, just roll over the knees a little bit, and we'll come to all fours. I have 2 pillows here, which you may want to keep handy that you can use in parts of the practice when we do some seated poses. But go ahead and come to all fours like a tabletop position. Place the hands right underneath the shoulders, spread the fingers nice and wide, and then take the knees at least hip distance apart. And you might want to take them a little bit wider if that creates a little bit more space for your baby and also just feels more comfortable and more stable in your hips and knees. Take a full breath in here in tabletop, and then as you exhale, cat pose. So round the spine, draw the tailbone down a little bit so it feels like you're kind of tucking the pelvis, hugging the baby in close towards you. You can let your neck soften and let your head hang heavy. And then from here, rock back a little bit in your cat pose and then just a little bit side to side. So just getting into the lower back there. We'll do some nice work getting into the hips today, and then just a couple ending poses as well to help us get into the lower back and open up across the shoulders and chest. But for now, just in this cat pose, kind of rocking the hips side to side, if it feels good to sort of make half circles from one side to the other, whatever feels good in your backside, and especially in the lower back. Just back and forth 1 or 2 more times here. And then on your next inhale, come back to tabletop pose and go ahead and step your right foot forward just outside your right hand and point the toes off to about a 45-degree angle. So they're kind of pointing off the mat, the heel will be on the mat. Let your hips come down, and you can see when I do this, my knee kind of goes in front of my ankle, so I'm gonna walk my foot a little bit further forward. So you wanna work towards, or I can scoot my back knee back, but you wanna work towards having this front shin perpendicular to the ground, your knee stacked over your ankle. And then just let the hips hang down nice and low to a point where it feels comfortable, you feel a nice stretch. And when you get here, just rock a little bit back and forth, side to side, or maybe even making circles in the hips if that feels good. So you're mostly gonna feel it in your left hip here when your right foot's stepping forward. And make it intuitive, just move in whatever way feels good for your body today. Just sort of creating space in your body, opening up the hips a little bit. And then from here, in your next breath, go ahead and walk the hands back. Start to unbend that front knee. It doesn't have to come perfectly straight. You're just working towards straightening it. It's fine to keep a little bend in the knee. And go ahead and actively flex the toes back. And then just notice where your back is. Sometimes we kind of hunch forward and round the spine a little bit. Think about reaching your heart forward, drawing the shoulder blades together a little bit so you feel some engagement on your back. And then reach the heart forward. And if there's space and it feels good, you can start to forward fold a little bit more, just hinging at the hips. I have both hands inside my right leg here, but you're welcome to put one hand outside the right leg if that feels a little more stable for you. And then just take a few breaths here as you inhale. Feel the expansion in the upper body. Feel that natural little lift in the chest and the spine. And then as you exhale, you can see if there's space to just ease a little bit deeper into the forward fold. One more breath cycle like this. Inhale. Exhale, let it go, let yourself soften, and then go ahead, bend back into the front knee, coming back into that lunge position. And we'll just rock back and forth here. So take a full breath in that lunge, reach your heart forward and up just a touch. And then as you exhale, rock the hips back, unbend the knee a little bit. Nice. Inhale, forward to your lunge, open up a little bit across the chest here. And then as you exhale, just unbending the knee any amount to the point where you feel a stretch. Last round, bend back into the front knee. And then exhaling to unbend it. Beautiful. Come forward one last time. And then go ahead and step that right knee back. So you're coming back to tabletop position. Take the knees nice and wide, about mat width apart. And then go ahead and take a child's pose. So sink the hips back towards the heels. Lay the forearms down on the mat, and then just come and bring your forehead down to the mat. And as you breathe in here, really feel the expansion in the backside of your body between the rib cage. And as you exhale, see if you can soften the whole body and just let it feel heavier on the mat. Let the pelvic floor relax a little bit. Feel the width across your lower back. And just a couple more breaths here. And then on your next inhale, rise back up, tabletop position. I'm going to switch directions. You can see me a little bit better, but go ahead and step your left foot forward this time, stepping it just outside the left hand, and those toes again point off at about a 45-degree angle. And then just adjust the placement of the knees and the foot again so you get that nice perpendicular angle with the shin perpendicular to the floor. Hips sink down nice and low. And again, we don't have to push it. Just take it to the place where you feel a stretch and it feels good, and then breathe into that. So we don't need to take it any further than that. And then just like we did on the other side here, maybe rocking a little bit back and forth, side to side, or even circling in the hips if that feels good. Whatever feels like it just eases a bit of the tension and tightness in your body and helps create a little bit more space. So don't worry about if it's right or wrong, what it looks like, but just tap into how it feels. And then from here, we'll go ahead and rock back to that half split. So unbending the front knee any amount and actively flexing through those front toes. So you really feel it kind of start near the Achilles, up through the back of the calf, the whole back of the hamstring, the whole back of the leg. Keep that length in the spine, reaching the heart forward a touch. Nice. And then go ahead, bend the knee, let the hips rock forward again, coming back into your lunge. And then with your breath, let's go ahead and do 3 rounds. So go ahead, rock the hips back, inhale or exhale. It doesn't really matter which one you do, as long as you just link the breath with the movement. Letting the hips come forward and down. So whatever breath cycle rhythm feels more natural to you. 2 more rounds, sorry. Rocking it back. Nice. And then forward into your lunge. And last round. Go ahead, rock the hips back. And then bend into the knee, come forward again, and then we'll go ahead, step that foot back, finding your tabletop position. And again, knees nice and wide. Hips sink back towards the heels, and just lay your whole torso down. Find child's pose here. And while you're here, can you just notice if those thoughts kind of creep up into your mind, thoughts about other things off the yoga mat? See if you can just put them down for a moment. Let yourself be here with your breath. Let it be a pose of surrender. Surrender the body to the mat. Just let your mind and your thoughts surrender to the breath. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and rise up, tabletop position. And then we'll come to seated now. And I'm gonna grab these pillows again, and you may or may not choose to use pillows. You may feel pretty comfortable just sitting. You may find that one pillow is plenty. I think I'm actually gonna go with one pillow. So sitting on either the floor or whatever amount of pillows feels right for you. Go ahead and take Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees out wide. And I like to give two options in this pose. So you can hug the heels in close towards the sit bones if you like that, or if it feels better in your body to make more of a diamond shape with the legs, go ahead and do that. Ultimately, they just kind of stretch different parts in the hips. And you know, I like to tell people that on some days it feels nice to do the pose that feels more accessible and spacious in our bodies. And on other days it feels nice to do the pose that feels a little bit tighter. So take whichever one works for you today. I'm gonna pull mine in a little bit today. It's fine if the knees come up higher. They don't need to be anywhere close to the floor. So just find the shape that works for your body. It's really about making the practice work for you, not forcing yourself to fit into something that doesn't feel quite right. Take a nice full breath in here, and then exhale all the way out, just like this. And then one more deep breath in. And then this time on the exhale, if it feels good, you can start to hinge forward at the hips any amount. And just like we did in those other poses, you want to keep the length in the spine. So rather than kind of hunching and rounding forward, which we do so much of in our day-to-day life, think about reaching the heart forward and feeling that light engagement of the muscles on the back side of the body. And then just breathe here. Last nice full deep breath in here. Exhale, let it go all the way out. And then inhale, rise back up. And go ahead and extend your right leg long. So I'm going to mirror you here. Hug your left heel in towards your sit bone. And then turn your torso towards your left knee. And with your right hand, start with it outside the leg. If you feel pretty spacious in the hip, you can probably bring it just inside the knee. So feel which one works for you. I'm going to start with it outside. Turn your torso towards your left knee and then reach your left arm up and over. Keep that arm nice and long, and it's as if you're trying to grab those right toes with that left arm. It's likely very far away, that's no problem, but really feel that length in the whole left side of the body. If you have space, you can move that right hand inside the leg, and you might even find there's space to put your forearm down, or if you're kind of in between, you can always grab a pillow or a yoga block and place that inside and put your forearm or your hand on that. So find the one that works well for you. Reach that left arm long towards the toes. Really reach through the ring finger of that hand. Turn the pinky just a little bit more down towards the mat than the index finger. And then once you get there, you can also just play around with the angle of your chest. So play with just rotating your torso a couple degrees down towards the leg or back up towards the ceiling until you feel that really nice sweet spot in the lower left side of your back. So you should feel a nice stretch both in your side body here as well as a little bit in the lower back on that side. So hopefully that feels like a nice release. Notice if your chin's kind of jammed up in your shoulder, just keep the neck soft. One more full breath in, and then as you exhale, just let that top hand come down towards the floor. Rotate the torso down towards the floor. Walk the hands towards the middle and then back towards you. And then we'll do the other side. So extend the left leg long. Hug the right heel in towards you. Scoot over just a touch. Nice. And then go ahead, turn the torso towards that right knee. And place the left hand wherever you did on the other side. So outside or inside the leg. And then go ahead, reach the right arm up and over. So a nice side bend there, just like you're reaching towards the left toes. And sometimes that arm just kind of hangs there, but see if you can really reach with it. And then again, once you get there, you can play with the rotation of the torso, maybe a couple degrees down or up, until you feel that nice sweet spot in your body. And then just breathe here. Let it be a sensory experience. Just kind of direct the attention of your breath towards the part of your body where you're opening up. Nice. Last full deep breath in here. Really reach through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, start to turn the torso down. Let that arm come down. Walk the hands towards the center. And then rise back up. Nice. I'm going to do a little outer hip opener here. And I'm going to give you two options. So the first one, you can take like a seated figure four. And again, optional to sit on that pillow. But go ahead, bend the left knee, place the sole of the foot on the floor. It's about a 90-degree angle here at the bend. And then I cross the right ankle over the left knee. My hands come back behind me and I can kind of walk my hands in as close or as far away. Feels comfortable, but feels like a nice spot for my right outer hip. So that is option one. If you're already there and that feels great, stay there. The other option is to take a double pigeon. So still working on my right outer hip here. Your left leg is going to go in front, shin parallel to the top of your mat, and then your right ankle is going to cross over it. And so you're going to go ankle over knee, knee over ankle here. We don't want to pull the feet in close towards like a lotus pose. We're working towards getting shins parallel to the top of the mat. Totally fine if this top knee comes up a little bit, and you can again use that pillow to just kind of cushion it and provide some extra support. So if you like this option better, just take a nice breath in here, fill up. Exhale, let it go, and then option if there's space, you can hinge forward any amount. Whichever shape you take, let's take 5 more full, deep, mindful breaths there. Again, just letting the breath help keep you here in the present moment, bring you back to the yoga mat, back to the sensations in your body. And all those other things that are going on, they're still going to be there when we finish our practice. So we may as well bring our presence to the practice while we're in it. We can tackle all those other things later on. Last breath here. And then go ahead, come back up. And then whichever option you took, just go ahead and switch sides. And you might notice that one side feels much more open than the other. That's pretty common, especially in our hips. We can have a lot of imbalances. We tend to have imbalances in our whole body. Hips is one place we're really noticing those. So if one side feels more spacious and open than the other, that's totally normal. Set yourself up on this side, whichever variation you choose. And then go ahead, same thing here. Let's take 5 nice, deep, mindful breaths. See if you can stay with the breath for all 5 breaths. Challenge yourself to just be present here. Last breath cycle here, no rush. Finish the cycle that you're on, and then go ahead and come back up. And if you did that seated figure 4, go ahead and stay there. If you took double pigeon like I did, you're going to come back to similar to that figure 4 position. I'm just going to remove my pillows again. And this is a nice easy one. Bring the hands, soles of the feet on the floor, knees bent, maybe about 90 degrees, and bring the hands, mine are about a foot behind me. And then just press the arms into the hands into the earth. Lift up the heart and open across the front of your chest as if you could spread your collarbones apart, which is of course not anatomically possible, but think of that, just rolling the front of the shoulders open, widening across the front of the heart. This one can feel nice. We're just carrying so much extra weight on our front sides. Just a nice, easy stretch across the front. And then on your next exhale, go ahead, you can walk the feet a little bit wider, create space for your baby, just kind of round forward, hug the knees. Let the head hang heavy. And then one more round. You can take the same pose we just did, or if you want to take almost like a reverse table, it is like a reverse tabletop. We're just not going to go up quite all the way. Press the soles of the feet into the earth as well. Lift the hips up, and then really lift the heart up. So the hips don't have to get as high as the heart, but really press the hands into the ground, spread off, 10 fingers nice and wide. Make sure the whole palm is pressing down. And then exhale, let the hips come down to the mat. Nice, just little counter pose. Give yourself a hug. And then we'll set up for our final resting position. So one of the options I like to give for Shavasana when you're pregnant is I have a few more pillows here as I like to create with the pillows a little prop for my leg, and I'll lie on my side. And then just place my top leg on the pillow. So the leg is kind of at least as high as my hip, and you might improvise with other pillows you have at home. I use my upper arm for my head. I'm going to scoot this way just a little bit, so you can see. I use my upper arm for my head, but you can use an additional pillow here if you want. So this option 1, Shavasana here, if that feels nice and comfortable for you. If you prefer to take a seated meditation, that's another option for the posing practice, or if there's any other position that just feels really supported and relaxing for you, option to take that. You get yourself set up in whatever feels good. And just be here for a minute or two to close the practice. So it doesn't have to be too complicated, just something that you can really feel comfortable in for a minute or two. Something that will allow you to sit in stillness. And when you get there, go ahead and close your eyes. And take one last really full deep breath in through the nose, fill up, and then gently part the lips. As you exhale, just feel the warm air across the lips as you breathe out through the mouth. And then go ahead, seal the lips, and come to your most natural, steady breath rhythm in and out through the nose. So we drop any breath control. And just keep that breath awareness. And start to let yourself just really settle into the stillness. Let it seep all the way down into your bones. Let your bones feel heavy on the yoga mat. Often this is our only opportunity in our whole day to just have 1 or 2 minutes of quiet all to ourselves. So give yourself that gift. Honor this time you've carved out in your day, and just allow yourself to be here in a bit of stillness and quiet. become deeply aware of this sensation of stillness. How does it feel in your body, in your mind, in your emotions? And just feel the stillness around you. Sense it deeply. And then gently start to deepen the breath, bringing just a bit of physical sensation to the physical body through the breath. And then whatever shape you're in, bring one or both hands to your belly, or you can place one hand over your belly, one hand over your heart, just whatever makes sense for the shape that you're in. Just like you're giving your body and yourself an embrace. Last couple breaths in this space, in this practice. What do you want to take from the practice with you when you open your eyes, when you move on to the next thing? And then when you're ready, go ahead and open up your eyes. And thank you so much for joining this practice today.